What's up, y'all? Ryan here. I got a bobber I've been working on. I've been feeling like I need to shift my attention away from cars for a bit. Work on some motorcycles. Check out this bobber I got going. S40, if you know me from my Rika days, you know that I love these bikes, and this is what we based our whole business on. It is a hardtail project I started but have not finished yet, so it's pretty cool. Unlike our Rika kits, this is a full welded on frame. I hardtailed this super low. I don't even think it's gonna get over a speed bump if I'm honest, but I like it. Let me know what you think of it. I got the hardtail on. I just got to wrap up a few things. Obviously, all the electrical is just nothing. Get some handlebars, some risers, finish up the plumbing on the gas tank. The electrical is going to be the main issue. Got to finish up the struts. I may or may not do a sissy bar. Let me know what you think on that. But pretty cool bike. We hardtailed it with 1 1/4 DOM and did a chain drive conversion. We stretched this quite a bit, so I got this one stretched out at least 6 inches total, probably about 4 on the back and maybe 2 to 4 on the front, because I raked it a little bit. As you can see, we kicked the engine back a little bit in the frame to give it that nice low drop. And I say we, but I meant me. Yeah, relocated the key under the seat. I got all the electronics up under the seat. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's like 80% of the way there. Not sure what I'm gonna do yet on the frame. It's pretty cool. Rusty like this, but maybe I'll sandblast it and powder coat it or paint it. Yeah, pretty good. Basic 6-inch wide trailer fender, peanut tank. Right now I'm working on the decomp because the decomp solenoid, I relocated it to here on the frame, but originally it's down a couple inches and my cable won't quite reach. So I had to re-weld this bracket at a different angle. Normally the angle is out here where my thumb is. So I re-welded this at a new angle so that my cable will reach. So I don't have to lengthen this cable because I'm not sure how I would do that at this point. And right now I'm shifting the bracket that holds the cable. As you can see here, I've drilled 2 new holes in it so that we can relocate it from its original position up high. We're going to relocate it this angle so that the cable will reach the new decomp. Because it's nice on these single cylinder thumpers to have that decomp working. That decomp will open up the valves a little bit right when your starter first kicks on so that the cylinder can get a little bit of momentum, the piston, excuse me. That helps with starting. It also helps so your battery doesn't get worn out. On the Rika kits, we used to just put a thumb decomp on there, but it's nice to be able to keep your hand on the shifter, or excuse me, off the clutch if you want to be able to just start it, you know, without getting your hand off the clutch. And that way you can leave the clutch switch engaged, if that makes any sense. Anyways, we got this piece here. I'm just drilling that out. We're going to get that mounted. I got to recess these screws a little bit, mount that up, and then we'll have this decomp in place. Then we're just going to go through the bike and finish everything up. We got about 10 to 15 things to do, and then also the wiring. So it should be a pretty fun project. I'm not sure if I like the gold on that bike. I just spray painted it. I think it kind of needs to be all black. I'm thinking black on black. I mean, it's such a cool low bar hopper, you know, as far as, you know, these bikes always, in my opinion, look best in black. But let me know what color I should paint it. We'll flip back to the bike and you can kind of get a good look and see what you think. Oh man, she's bad. Look at that thing. Nice and low. Thing is just stretched out. And you can see I got a little extra rake over the stock Savage. Like I said, I kicked the engine. By bringing that frame down just a touch, it makes it really low, and then I can kick that frame leg way up, so this thing sits nice and low, and it also rakes out that front an extra few degrees. Let me pull this steering straight. You can see what I'm talking about. Like, look how raked that is. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to clip some of the controls off or not. I might get rid of some of them or leave the stock controls. I'm not sure if I want to have some toggle switches for, you know, turn signals and that sort of thing. But, man, she's cool. Look at that thing. Let me know what color we should paint in the comments. Once we get this decomp drilled to that new level, to the new angle, we can get to wiring this bike up. Got a few things. We got to get the brake on the rear done, and Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit. Anyway, so I got this decomp situated here. See if we can get this to work. Cable slides in there, and then this piece comes above here. I probably should have done that first. Let me see. There it goes. Yes! And then that goes in there. Look at that. So there we go. We got the new angle, and then this still has a little slack on it. So you can get rid of that slack with the adjustment here, but that's what I needed. I needed it to have a different angle. Now, when the decomp right here vacuums in, it'll crack those valves just like you need. So that should be perfect. Just like we needed it. Looks great too. Got about 3/8, maybe ½ inch of play, which is what you want before the decomp solenoid. This is a valve here. It's like a vacuum, and it pulls it in. And you want it to engage that last like quarter right there is where it engages that. So it's pretty cool, nice feature, and it's nice to still have it. It keeps these bikes much more startable. If you don't have that, you'll wear your battery out super fast. I've seen batteries go dead in as little as like 5-6 cranks. So whenever you're building a custom hardtail and you're changing up the brakes, you have to make sure you put the brake stop in, and I'll show you what that looks like right here. So on your drum, any motorcycle with a drum brake has a brake stop. Now, it's very tempting you need to stop this from rotating so that your brake can actuate. It's tempting to put it up here to hide it, how it looks nice and clean, hidden behind the frame rail. But the problem with that is if it's up and you need to adjust your axle to adjust your chain tension, it'll bind up. So we have to put it here in the center, and that would allow you to adjust your chain tension. Because if you don't do that, the axis of movement here will have two conflicting angles. So you always have to mount your brake, unless you have your axle plates with a different angle. I've seen that done, but then that lowers the bike as you tighten the chain up. So if your axle is standard, your chain adjustment is standard forward back, which is how it's supposed to be, you need to have your brake stop also in the same plane. So we're gonna take some plate and make ourselves a brake stop. So we'll make it out of cardboard first, and then we'll make it out of metal. All right, we got a good connection there. I think we got enough surface area. It's a little bit extended, so we'll have to gusset that from the bottom, but I think this will be a good template. And we'll go ahead and cut that out of metal. And then we can add some gussets for some support so that we don't get any bending, because there's a lot of pressure when you hit the brakes. That's gonna pull pretty hard. So an extension like that, even a few inches, can bend that metal. So you really want to make sure it's structurally sound. So we'll put some vertical supports in there as well. I'll show you what I mean in a second. All right, now we'll just cut it out of metal and get it going. One thing while I'm thinking about it, on these bikes, if you extend the wheelbase, your brake cable won't reach the brake lever. So there's two ways you can go about it doing this. You can clock this, you can take it off, you remove the screw all the way, and then you'll be able to take this arm out, and you can actually clock it a little bit. You can get away with clock it a couple of degrees this way, and then you can put an extension here. So what you do is you take a M6 extension and then some threaded rod, and you can see, because it's too short, now we can extend it like that. You can also clock it, take it off, and move it a couple degrees forward or a couple degrees back in order to give yourself a good starting point. But extending it really is the only way to go if you extend the wheelbase. Like this one's extended on about 4 inches in the back. So if you stretch your frame, it's something to keep in mind. It's a standard M6 thread, so this is pretty easy. By just using a coupler and a piece of threaded rod, you can extend that without issue. All right, let's get back to this brake setup. So at Rika, we do a lot of water jetting, and what I like to do when I get water jet is keep the scrap metal that they cut our parts out of, and I like to look at these patterns and use them for maybe gussets and stuff like that. So as we do this brake tab, I'll typically look at a piece like this and try to find a nice gusset. So I'll look at these shapes and I'll cut out pieces and use those to like give myself strength on a part like we're making now, the brake tabs. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to cut out this section and this section and use those on our brake tab. It's a way you can kind of get creative and artistic without having to like draw up your own CAD file. So if you have CAD files that you're getting water jet, I always ask the water jet guy to give you the scraps when he's done, and you can make some cool parts out of those. So I'll get these cut out and we'll use those to brace up our brake tab. Look at that, like it was meant to go there. Holy cow, that looks cool. Fits the frame rail exact, and we'll do another one on top. Like that. See, parts like this on a bobber, you know, there's a formula to it: peanut tank, spring seat, flat fender or round fender. But when it comes to stuff like this is where you can add your signature to the piece, you know. You gotta have a brake stop, might as well make it look cool. Gonna add a little artistic flair to it. I'll get it all cleaned up and we'll tack weld it in place. Super cool. All right, I got those in place. I'm gonna tack them up, but look how cool that looks. We have a nice bar. I changed it from the top and bottom just to 2 on the bottom. The rotational force comes down and I think it looks cooler anyway, just the 2. So that's what I'm thinking. Pretty nice. Looks like those gussets were made for that spot. All right, got that tacked into place. Looks pretty cool. I think it's gonna look super trick, especially with those gussets. I mean, look, that was just random pieces out of our water jet, and look how cool that came out. It came out like it was meant to go there. So, pretty sweet. Now we have our brake stop in place, although it's just tacked up. I'm not gonna finish welding this and a number of other stuff I haven't finished welded. A lot of these welds are just either tacked or halfway in, but I'm gonna stop here. Call this a video, try to get this uploaded, and then you guys can let me know what color we should paint this thing. Strip it, maybe black on black, maybe dark gray. What are you guys thinking? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It really helps me out and keeps me motivated to make these videos. I appreciate each and every one of you, so thank you very much for watching. Man, that's cool.